Blessings and peace, blessings and peace. And welcome to the Ice Turner Experience. Today, I've just actually had a few things on my mind directly related to, one thing. Because I really want to keep the main thing. And it's just something that actually validates, a saying that a lot of people are accustomed to me saying. It was also inspired by, some conversations I'm having, with the younger guys, in regards to me explaining certain things. And what I was telling him about the difference between, commanding something and demanding something is based on your character. It's based on, heartfelt masculinity. Because at the end of the day, women need masculine approval. See, as you was basically saying that the young lady felt conflicted by being in his presence. And I said it's because of who you are and who you're evolving and becoming is challenging her to make the necessary modifications. And her personality is challenging her to change. As I've said before, the more godly you are, the more potent your game is. And what is exactly to be godly? It's to be mature in your thinking. It is to basically be a completer of task. It even says it in scripture, if I lead you there, because, I can't even say it's my opinion, because it's actually the truth. Because to me, nothing better defines what it means to become an authentic man and to remain mature in your thinking other than scripture. Now, if you look at this for an example, I'm going to read you 2 verses. Now, I came up with about 20, but I'm just going to give you 2 verses. Then I'm going to break that down. 1 Corinthians 14:20. Brothers, do not be children in your thinking. Be infants in evil, but in your thinking be mature. It's a lot to think about. Because remember what, Paul said, as a child, I thought as a child, knew things as a child, did things as a child. But when I became a man, I put aside those childish things. See, it's shunning things that would stain your character and your reputation. It's like that famous saying that was from that movie Scarface. Your word and your balls. So that's all I really have is my word and my balls, and I don't break them for anyone. Now, your words is directly related to your character. If you say you're going to do something, then you're going to actually do that. Because as it says, it's a mature man, a completer, a perfecter, right? Fulfillment. That means if you give your word to do something, that means you have to see out the completion of that. And your word is based on your internal revenue. If you can cash in your character today, what can you actually buy? Who are you in the marketplace? Then the second one that comes to mind, and I'm going to revisit the other one. We're not going to slack behind on that, right? 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. God gave us his spirit, rulah, his breath, his essence. And the spirit doesn't make us weak and fearful. Instead, the spirit gives us power and love and helps us to control ourselves. As I said before, he gives us the ability to tap into the God us by putting himself in us. And the access is in our mind or in that black dot or that spiritual eye, as they used to say in church. This is the greater is he that is in me than is in the world, right? It's starting to come into fruition, right? Now, what is that spirit? That spirit isn't anything of fear, superstition, false evidence, appearing real, right? But it gives us power, dunamis. That means it gives you the ability, the prowess, the skill set, the energy to do a thing, to perform a task, or to stand still. And it says the ability to control ourselves. Self-control. Now, if you look at it in James, be quick to listen, right? Slow to anger and slow to speak. It's all tied together. And it says to be godly or godlike. That's what maturity essentially is being God-like. See, once you make that decision to be the earthly master, that becomes your reputation. So you're kind of like, the best example is Joshua. He gave you the example of basically how to be and what it's like to have that power, that Christos. So what is heartfelt masculinity? See, heartfelt masculinity is something that really commands respect. It commands peace. Now look at the other verse in the Bible when Jesus was on the boat. That's what you're familiar with that name, because I say Yeshua, but we'll just say Jesus. Let's just keep it there. When Jesus was on the boat, Peter was panicking. The wind and the waves were beating on the boat. What is the boat symbolic to? The boat is symbolic to the body, right? The mind, right? The water, emotions, consciousness, right? The Peter was symbolic to our central nervous system. And what is the wind? The turmoils of life. The wind and the waves are beating against the boat. Your emotions are beating against your mind because your reality is very confusing and fearful. But that Christos inside the mind is what defines what circumstances. Just like David, he encouraged himself. And Yah, it's the same thing. You speak to that wind. You speak to your emotions, right? You're speaking to your conscience. And you're speaking the truth into that. And all of it's settled. The water is settled. You gotta have still water. A still consciousness. And by having a still consciousness is having your emotions aligned with your intuition, just like you're having your logic in line with your intuition. It all comes together, then you have that glow, right? Remember that song, Willie Hutchin or Hatchet? When you have that glow, it means your mind, body, spirit is all aligned with your intuition. Then you have ultra instinct. Now you are starting to understand what it's like to have heartfelt masculinity, because a difference between commanding something versus demanding something. Because when you command something, your character, who you are, is going to command whatever you're looking for, whatever you thought you were looking for. You know, as I told a young lady before, I said, if you seek respect as much as you seek attention, you can actually get the attention. Well, it's the same thing to you, young man. If you seek honor, you will get the things you're looking for. Seek ye the kingdom of Yah, the kingdom that is inside you, and all these things will be added unto you. All these things will fall into place. See, as you evolve and as you mature and as you become aligned into that black dot, into that third eye, into that pineal, into that Christos, things will fall into place for you. And your masculinity will be heartfelt in the mind and hearts of others. So you can actually have people subdued or fall in line, or, you know, if you want to speak to a young lady, right? You can have her in line based on your character, based on how centered you are. And that's through inspiration versus the other tactic of, you know, the finesse. That means you're doing it through manipulation. And you're demanding it. Manipulation and argumentation and withholding things. See, when you're an all true man and you have heartfelt masculinity, what are you hiding? You don't have to talk. But when you do speak, is of power, dunamis.